Hey everyone, so today we're going to show you the routine health check that you can do with your horse every single week. Let's go! So firstly, I just want to emphasize how important it is to check your horse's health regularly, not just to monitor for any signs of illness or disease, but also to keep records of this that you can show to your vet when making a diagnosis. So to help you with that, I put together this fillable PDF that has everything that the vet would want to see, and if you stick around till the end, I'll show you where to get it. So after filling out the basic details, the first thing to check for is behavior. Is your horse bright, alert and responsive with his ears pricked forward when you approach him? Or is he lethargic and sort of out of it? Is he eating and drinking normally? Next up is assessing the condition of your horse by going through different body parts. This is where grooming comes so handy, as it's not only a great way to bond with your horse, but also to search for any health issues. Is your horse's coat shiny and intact, or is it faded with areas of hair loss on it? Other thing to check for during grooming is any wounds or swellings. In riding horses, check if the back muscles are relaxed or tense, and also for any pressure points or soles in the saddle and girth areas. A slightly more advanced way of assessing your horse's appearance is body condition scoring. This 1 to 9 scale was developed by Henneke in 1983, and it's basically for evaluating how much fat is on your horse's body. You can do this by running your hand over 6 main areas and feeling for fat deposits, starting from behind the shoulder, over the ribs, the tail head, down the back, along the withers, and finally the neck. Weekly body condition scoring is a great way to monitor your horse's response to feeding and exercise. Even though his neck is quite thin, as I couldn't quite feel Dream's ribs under my hand and there's a slight crease down his back, I'm gonna assign him a score of 5.5. Moving on, I'm just gonna quickly run my hand through Dream's legs, palpating the joints and tendons for any lumps, bumps, heat or swelling. If your horse is a bit more mature than mine, you might want to take your time and be a bit more thorough than I was. At a glance, it seems alright though. Checking the hooves regularly should be a part of any equestrian's daily routine. I pick my horse's hooves out at least twice a day to make sure there is nothing stuck in the grooves that could potentially cause lameness or discomfort. Because constant wet weather here in the UK predisposes horses to thrush, I also check for sensitive areas by applying pressure, and any discharge or foul smell coming from the hoof. Don't forget to check your horse's genital areas for any abnormalities such as unusual discharge or a loose tone. Make sure they're nice and clean and remove any dirt that might cause contamination. If you catch your horse urinating, observe for any signs of pain, abnormal stands or discoloration of the urine, as this could indicate some serious problems. Also take note of the consistency of your horse's manure, which should be made up of moist and round fecal balls and not be too runny or dry. There's a lot to look for when assessing the head of your horse, such as the symmetry of areas on the two sides, any signs of inflammation, infection, or abnormal discharge coming from the eyes, nostrils, mouth or ears, as well as a foul-smelling breath. So, I know this looks really bizarre, but this is actually how vets check the teeth at a routine physical examination. The point of this is that by grabbing the tongue and pulling it over the bars of the mouth, the horse has no way of biting you and you can easily examine the oral cavity. And now we're gonna move on to taking more direct measurements, such as the skin pinch. This simple test is great for assessing your horse's hydration, and it's usually done on the shoulder or the neck. You should expect the skin to smoothen out within 1 to 2 seconds. Next, we're gonna assess the jugular groove, which should be nicely running along the lower edge of the neck. This is where vets carry out the jugular refill test, which is indicative of the horse's cardiovascular health. If you place your fingers around 2/3 down the groove and press hard enough, what you should be seeing is the vein above bulging as it fills with blood. It's quite hard to show through this winter coat and Dream moving his head all the time, so you're just gonna have to visualize it for now. When you let go, the bulge should flatten within 1 to 2 seconds. You should also check the mucous membranes in the eyes and mouth, which should look moist and be a nice pink color. Watch out for any dryness, pale or purple membranes. The next test to do is the capillary refill test, where you press your thumb down on the gums until the area turns white and let go to see how quickly it turns pink again. 0 to 1 second is ideal. As we did a test, any longer than 4 seconds is cause for serious concern. So for the rest of the checks, we're gonna use this first aid kit that I talked about in my
second ever video, and so if you want to check it out, I will link it down below.
So then we're gonna measure the weight of the horse, which I'm gonna do using a commercial weight tape. Just so you know, this won't give you an accurate measurement, but you will have a number to compare to in the future. The tape should run behind the withers and around the palm's width behind the elbows. Then pull it tight until you see the fur flatten and note down the number. If you really want an accurate estimation of your horse's weight, but you don't have an expensive livestock scale, you can use this formula instead. To take the measurements, just use a regular tape and the formula will give you a fairly accurate number. The easiest way to take a horse's heart rate and respiratory rate is to set a timer for 15 seconds and then multiply your count by 4 to get the measurement per minute. To take the respiratory rate, you can either watch the nostrils expand and collapse or the movement of the last rib. In a resting state, you should get between 8 to 16 breaths per minute, evenly spaced out, but as Dream was a bit agitated being brought in the middle of the day, a rate of 28 breaths per minute is not surprising. To take a horse's heart rate correctly, first adjust the tips of the stethoscope to point forward and warm up the chest piece. Set your timer and place the chest piece beneath the base of the left shoulder. It takes a little bit of practice to hear the heartbeat, especially through a winter coat. Just make sure you're in a quiet place and try to hold your fingers still, as moving them will also make a noise. Most people will say apply light pressure with the chest piece, but I could only ever hear anything if I pressed it firmly against his chest. Normal resting heart rate can vary from 24 to 40 beats per minute, depending on your horse's age and level of fitness. The younger your horse, the higher the normal heart rate will be, and the fitter he is, the lower it will go. It is also important to listen to the gut sounds during every health check, as it can give you a heads up on any gastrointestinal problems. To do this, place the stethoscope anywhere in this area and listen carefully. As a rule of thumb, you should hear between 3 and 4 rumblings per minute, but you only really have to worry if you hear too many or no sounds at all. The last measurement we're gonna take is rectal temperature using a digital thermometer. First, lubricate the device with Vaseline and insert it carefully into the rectum for 30 seconds. Remember to press the tip of the thermometer against one side of the rectal wall, as otherwise you're just measuring the air inside the rectum and not the temperature of the horse. The device will beep when it's finished, and the read between 37.2 and 38.3 Celsius or 99 and 101 degrees Fahrenheit is acceptable, but this can vary slightly with the weather. Use antibacterial swabs to wipe the thermometer before putting it away. Finally, we're going to assess the gait and impulsion of the horse by walking and trotting him in a straight line on a level surface. The best thing to do here is to ask an experienced person to watch out for any signs of lameness, such as a head bob, hip hike, or shortened stride. Your horse should be moving freely and without restriction. Our health check is now complete. As I promised, I'm now going to show you how you can download the EquiNerd Horse Health Check. First, go to our official page EquiNerd.com and scroll down to the subscribe section where you can enter your email address. Then go to your inbox and you'll have an email asking to confirm your subscription, likely in the promotions folder. So do that and you'll get to instantly download the free PDF. Remember guys to always do your health checks the exact same way every time and never skip a step unless it is unsafe to carry out.
So I hope that was helpful and interesting for you guys. If it was, then smash that like button and remind me if I left anything out in the comments below. Videos are coming out every 2 weeks now, so if you want to see more of us, then you can subscribe down below. Otherwise, stay safe and ride smart!